example, is the main activity, your main motivation as far as career is concerned, as far as work is concerned. The one that complement will be, in this example, putting structure and processes and system in place. You want orderliness, you want consistency, you want clarity. So one of the inner motivation to engage in this activity, your intrinsic value is to be able to make orderly contribution. You like the environment to be systematic, more process-driven, working relationship is in a more collaborative manner, with discipline to carry out the process steps. And the other that complement you, for example, here as an illustration is you have an interest to analyze facts, identify pitfalls, patterns, causes, and effects. You want to manage contingency. You believe in overcoming work issue. You like to be in an environment that's more diagnostic, more problem solving. Working relationship that can be team-based, cooperative, collaborative, even beyond your own division and department and team with other teams. And also at times to be able to work independently to analyze issues. Say this is the example as for illustration purpose. Then from there, you can then look at what are the basic job type that will be suitable based on those interests and value. So based on the earlier example that I shared, one will be is in the area of service, people service traits, the people service characteristics. So you will not mind working in a pressurized environment, one that is more team-based, and you would like an environment in addition to that to be one that is maybe technologically a bit more complex, and one environment that with clear structures and processes, that you also don't mind doing a part of the work that is more administrative. Say that is an example that I'm using now to illustrate it. So these are all available in the profiling report to show where you are. These are not inborn characteristics. It's based on now how you see things, how you are motivated to be. It can evolve over time. Right? They are not inborn traits. So based on this combination, what then about the work environment? How have the outbreak impacted on the work trends and work attributes? One that we can see about work trend that's impacted by COVID-19 is there's increase in remote working. So HR organizations will be looking at people who have the competency and the willingness to use digital technology to work. There's also an expansion of contingency workforce. This is for organizations to maintain their flexibility or to increase their flexibility, and they expand the use of gig workers, freelancer, temporary workers, so on. And then because of that, it moved beyond the traditional standard work model. In the past, it is about one single organization, one job, one clear career path, working from 9 to 5. But gone were the days that this is the kind of characteristic that you can find in the job market. Not that it's totally gone, but it's not as popular as before. Now people are more prepared to work for different organizations as a freelancer, as a consultant, as a temporary worker, as a contract worker to gain different experience. So that is one area. What about those that impact on work attributes? One that you can see is that organizations want to be more responsive in leading and managing change. So they will look at people with more cross-functional knowledge, with more multidisciplinary skill that help employees to play varied, adaptive, and flexible roles. One other that you can see because of the outbreak that impacted on the work attributes requirement from organization is the ability and the inclination to manage change. Here we look at adaptability, agility, and flexibility. Right? So how is adaptability different from flexibility? Well, in my report, the definition of adaptability is the readiness to adjust to different conditions in the workforce. And And for flexibility, is the tendency to modify your approach in response to different circumstances. So they are not measuring exactly the same thing, but when they combine together, it's about your inclination to manage change. One other is on agility, whether you have that inclination to act promptly, to act decisively in an environment with more and more uncertainty, more and more volatile. So that are the attributes that, which, as a result of the pandemic, becoming more and more critical and important that companies are looking for from candidates. One more area that is now of a growing emphasis is the attribute of resilience from candidate. So what does that mean? It means the inclination of people to be able to recover from setback fast and move forward, right? So these are the work trends and work attributes as a result of the impact of COVID-19. So with this understanding and an inner assessment of yourself on what are your career interests, your career values that you embrace, that excite you, then you can look at what are the personality traits that you can develop in putting into your career profile, into your developmental action. There can be many that HR are looking at, but the one that are essential will be these four: the staying power to do something despite of difficulty and past failure, the willingness to work together as a team with others, the humility to learn, to relearn, to unlearn, the drive to be the best that you can be, the drive for excellence, the spirit of excellence. And one last one, which is getting more and more important now, is the ability to adjust the inclination to adjust to new conditions to be future ready. So in my profiling, there are a variety of reports. One of the reports is Managing Change Profile Report, and that covers your adaptability, your flexibility, your agility, and the resilience, where you are. And there are recommended action to take that you can strengthen these areas. There is this misconception that many people have, is that personality traits are inborn, cannot be changed. Well, there are some inborn traits, and there are also nurturing traits. As to which one are inborn, which one are nurturing, to date, there's no conclusive research on this, right? So I like to believe that most workplace personality traits are nurturing traits. They come about as a result of how we see things that are working for us. Some may say that, well, I have not started working yet. I'm still a student. A student, you work with fellow students. You work with your lecturers on projects. So again, here it already starts shaping your workplace traits in yourself. The other part that you can look at about yourself is when you're doing your career profiling, looking at developmental action, will be on the soft skill. So these four dimensions on soft skills correlate to the personality traits that I talk about earlier on, except that these are not about inclination. These are more about ability, which you can acquire through attending courses from unable to become able, like emotion management, right? Interpersonal communication skill, multitasking, individual change management skills. So with that, I'd like to now make a turn back to those that are those industries that are affected by the pandemic, so that we have a clearer picture of what industry you should spend more effort looking at, and which other industry you may want to give it a miss. Right? Tourism and hospitality industry are one of the worst affected because of the pandemic. You all know that. Event management and marketing industry, well, there are cancellation of physical events. Most of it are now virtual. So that also caused a sharp decline in advertising. So there's a shift from desktop apps to spending on mobile apps. In the retail industry, there's also a huge shift to online shopping. Worldwide online traffic for supermarkets have increased significantly. Most of the sector's growth is in the food and grocery industry, whereas fashion retail outlets, they are struggling, and other non-essential goods. Whereas the finance industry, well, there's growing pressure on online and customer services. There's a shift to mobile banking because of social distancing requirement. Physical branch now, most of the services are done online. So they put immense pressure on using other channels like telephone support, social media, and online. So there is actually a demand for customer services online to increase, to handle the increased number of people having questions and concern about their finances. Well, what about industry for job opportunities during this COVID-19? One door closed, another door open, right? E-commerce is one area because we talk about online. Even now, most of the interview recruitment process are done online because of the impact of the pandemic. So more online shopping as well as food and grocery deliveries. So examples of job role in e-commerce: product manager, e-commerce marketing executive, affiliate channel e-commerce marketing executive, software engineers, and so on. And the other industry is digital media and entertainment. More are playing online games and online video streaming, and they are more turning to AR and VR to replace physical visits to concerts, museums, and events. So there are examples of job roles in this industry. You can find like digital marketing operation executive, multimedia support, mobile apps application tester, and so on. Then the other industry is health and wellness. There's already a growing demand on health and wellness product even before the outbreak, and it's even more so during and after the outbreak. So sales for sanitizers, disinfectants, immunity boosting supplements and vitamins are obvious. They are all growing. So there are job opportunities in the healthcare, wellness industry. There are various job roles that you can find in this industry as well. The next one that you can see is grocery retail. There's higher penetration of online shopping for fast-moving consumer goods. People still go to physical store, and the focus is both online and offline customers. So this is another growing industry. Video conferencing services, like what we are using now. So this is again another industry like digital media industry. They are growing fast because of the pandemic. Right. So with this understanding in analyzing the industrial changes and doing a self-assessment, the areas that you can work on, that you put together, the kind of activities that you're interested in, the kind of career values that you strongly believe in embracing, then you can put them together to start to review job description for roles that you're interested in applying. So based on the earlier example that I say, the basic job type, the main is service, and the complementary is technical, then you put them together. One of the job options, one of the suitable role will be in the area of customer care and operation. So this is an illustration to show you, for you to look at what are the requirements, job requirements from potential employers by looking at the job opportunity, and you can see then what are the areas that you can work further on in your development plan, and also preparing yourself when you are called for a virtual interview. Now then, that gives you clarity for your suitability, as far as your suitability is concerned, for your preferred job position in industry. I mentioned in the morning about the various components of job suitability. It makes up of two aspects. One is the eligibility, one is the personality job fit aspect. Eligibility is the area that is more obvious to many people, like your qualifications, the license required to be in that position, the kind of work experience and training you have before in that industry, and what other requirements that are looking at, whether you fall in the acceptable salary range, your expected salary, does it fall within what is considered acceptable for them, for the organization in the job role, are you willing to relocate, and so on. Then the other part is on the personality job fit. I mentioned earlier on some work characteristic, work traits, attributes like resilience, adaptability, agility, and the area of perseverance, being able to stay on when times are in challenging times. So these are um, uh, components that make up the overall suitability for a job position. And with that understanding, you will have much better clarity on where you are and what you should work on. So building your expertise that match your interests is important. That can be done not just through paid work, but also through volunteer work. Relevant experience is really a great addition to your CV. So be clear about the reasons for acquiring for experience. See some examples given below. You may be, for you to find out more about the job on the industry that you are interested in. It can be also one that you want to get some hands-on experience in the job industry. I mentioned one example earlier on in the talk in the morning about work experience. When I was a young graduate, I don't have experience, and I was keen at the time to understand how Marcom work and what does the work involve. I don't have the experience, right? So I wrote in a speculation application. I just write in on my own. I research on one company. I just write into them and I say that I'm keen to learn from this organization, and I believe that I can contribute because I am willing to adapt, I'm willing to adjust, and I have this drive for excellence, right? If you can give me a chance to be a volunteer, of course, there's no obligation on your part, but if I do have this opportunity, I would like to try out even for a few days, week, and you can tell from that whether you would like me to proceed further. And the company called me up. I went for the interview. They are happy with me. They take me in, and I work with them. Now, there's no formula in this area. It's really about your chemistry fit, that whether you share the same values. It happened for me. I'm fortunate enough that the company is growing, and at the time we are really looking for young people who are willing to work with them. They may not want to employ people who are too experienced because they do bring with them certain opinions which they didn't want. So I happened to be in for the right time. Yeah. So that was one of my experiences. And there are others that I know of. They do volunteer work in community for community services, and all that can be put in a CV about your soft skill, how you apply your soft skill in relating to people, in working as a team, in staying positive, and so on. I'd like to now talk about the components of the career profile. So what is in the career profile? Obviously, one is your name, your contact information. The other is about your career summary or career objective. Notice that I didn't put summary and objective. I put summary or objective. I will talk about this further as I move along. Next is on professional history, the company I work for, and then the description of the role, achievement, your education in history, your skill. The optional part will be the awards, your achievement, hobbies, and interests. So these are the various components in the career profile, and it's good for you to have a picture of yourself, what you have, what you don't have, what you need, and what you don't need. I'd like to give an example here for building your own profile. Say I mentioned about customer service. So if you have qualification experience in customer facing role, whether virtual, over the phone, face to face, that would be useful. So when writing this, emphasize on your interpersonal skills, your organizational ability, experience in the customer service field. For more senior role, obviously, you will highlight more about your accomplishment as a leader. Now I'd like to move on to the part on career summary versus career objective. An objective is a statement of your career goal. Objective will be more useful if you have limited work experience, like you just going to graduate or recent college graduate. A summary will be one that you have few important experiences and skills that you already acquire and you find it's worth highlighting. So that will make the difference. Well, you might decide to have both or just one. It all depends on the position you're applying for, the company you apply to, the complexity of your past work experiences. An example here on objective statement for a recent graduate entering the nursing program, say, maybe we can put as a motivated nursing student seeking to develop more extensive experience working with elderly patients. While someone who have an experience may write a summary like attentive nurse practitioner with 3 years of experience effectively diagnosing patient illness and managing treatment. Now, writing career summary, that will be one that you want to first talk about your most important experiences and skills. Review the job description for position you're interested in applying. You may see some of the job requirements overlap with your own qualification. Put them together in 1 to 2 sentence summary and briefly showcase those skills. Your statement should start with key adjective of yourself, an active voice, and include key action words to describe your experience. For example, a summary might look like engaging customer service rep with 2+ years of experience in a fast-paced call center environment, skill at transforming customer feedback into actionable insights that drive revenue, increase customer loyalty, and improve processes. Notice the person here describe himself or herself as engaging. So it's an adjective that you would like to use to describe yourself and state your years of experience and the relevant skills. Here are further examples on writing career summary. If you are a university graduate or going to graduate, you may want to put as a resourceful and proactive university graduate with Bachelor of Arts in Human Resource Management and internship experience implementing staff engagement and change initiative program. If you have those attachment experience, and that will be good to put it in as well. Now, what are the steps to build your online and offline profile? For especially the digital native generation, as you will want to optimize your LinkedIn profile. That's one method you can help to achieve your desired outcome. Update your profile on Facebook and so on to reflect your highest value. Clean up whatever recent activity that is not reflective of the value, and those that you do not want your potential employer to look at anymore, delete them. Share insights in the form of blogs, articles, or videos on major platforms. Doing so, especially if you do volunteer work, you can still put in a blog of what you have learned from your volunteer work. Oh, I learned to interact with people of a different generation. I seek to understand first before I seek to be understood. I learned what words are more sensitive to them. These are all soft skills. These soft skills are applicable across different sectors, different job positions. It's this behavior that allows people to get to know, like, and trust you. Associate with people and brands that enhance your own. And LinkedIn is also one area that you can go in to look for jobs. And then people will write to me through LinkedIn for jobs. So approaches in finding jobs, there are various approaches. The most traditional is company website. Visit their website when the internship is open. And sometimes even it's closed, they're not closed forever, it's just postponed. Look at recruitment agencies. Speculative application, and this is what I have used before. I wrote to a company where they did not advertise. I'm interested in working in that organization. I take ownership of what I'm interested in. What you are most interested in, what you really want to see happen, it will either continue to be a dream or a reality, depends on your action. If you are very convicted of making it into a reality, work on it, take action. Of course, sometimes in our thoughts we say, oh, it's too good to be true, it may not happen. So what? Just continue pursuing your dreams. Take action. You don't take action, it's for sure that it's not going to happen. You take action, the chances are it may happen, right? So that is how it goes. Of course, career fair, or you visit in Singapore, my careers, future.ogv.sg. And these are various approaches that you can start finding jobs. With that, I like to conclude by saying that with the outbreak of this COVID-19 virus, no one can predict what exactly is going to happen, what demand will be after the year 2020. It all largely depends on how willing, how effective we are in deepening our capabilities, in reinventing ourselves to tap on new opportunities, to replace those that are lost. When one door closes, another door opens. Right? However things turn out, the willingness in taking the first right step to deepen our capabilities, to become more robust, more versatile, more adaptable, with more resilient, will stand us in good stead. Ahead of us can be a tombstone, or it can be a stepping stone. The outcome is really in the choice that we make. I started my career, it's not a bed of roses. From very young, at the age of 22, 21, when people are pursuing their studies, I have to work and study part-time because my aged parents need me to take care of them financially. So although I was at the age of 20, 21, I was like a father of two. I take care of my, I don't know who, I'm not with my biological parents. I'm brought up by my foster parents. I have to take care of both, right? So financially, it was very tight on me. To become a degree holder is a dream. But because I was very convicted and very determined, there's a will, there's a way, right? So when you're willing, you will start to think creatively. You will try different things. You will talk to different people. You tap on different ideas, right? So because of that, the path start to be straightened, and I start to see milestone of success, right? And today, I'm running my own organization. I can even offer employment to people and employing people, not just being employed. So whether it's a dream, a vision, a reality, it depends on our choice. So that is what I'd like to share here. And with that, I'm going to close this session. I want to spend more time on question and answer. If you do have a question, please feel free to ask. There's no one question as a silly question, only one that you don't ask. All questions, I will do my best to give you my inputs based on my experiences. So now it's time for question and answer. Please feel free to ask your question. Okay, there's one thing that I have not mentioned, and I'd like to mention now, that for this talk, we are here to assist you. So for the first 15 people who are interested in having a complimentary career profile, you can put in the chat group your name and your email, and then we will get back to you on this, right? Because it's a complimentary profile, we will give you only the essential pages where you don't need a consultant to explain to you. You read on your own, you will have an idea of what is this. So this is what I am offering to assist you as a complimentary report for you to have an idea of your own workplace personality traits, the work activities that you are interested in, the career values that you embrace. So for the first 15 people, I'm offering this complimentary report to you. you can put in the chat your name and your email address, and we'll get back to you. Thanks. I do see people are responding on that, so please feel free to take full advantage of this.
Hi, Dr. Fred.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm Ignatius from MDIS Business School. And I would like to ask a question. I happen to be working in MDIS, but I'm sure we have students also attending your session, which is very interesting. Thank you very much. I can't put on my video because I'm actually attending your session outside of campus.
Oh, sure. No issue.
Right for me to put on the video as I'm driving.
Sure.
My question is...
Be careful when you're driving.
Yes. My question is, what advice would you give to students when they decide to do, say, an educational program? Should they go with what they are interested in, or what would pay them well as a career in the future? Thank you.
Okay. I did not hear as very clearly of what you're asking. I hear something about what you're interested in and what maybe you can help me to repeat that louder so that I can hear better.
Yes, Dr. Fred, my question is advice that you will give to a student who is deciding whether to do an educational program that they are interested in, or should they pick a program that will eventually pay them very well when they start their careers. What would be your advice if you have a question like that?
Here, if a person have this option, it will go back to what the person see as really benefit them in the long run. For a job that pay well, much is given, much is expected, right? So unless you know that this is a job, the culture of this setup is one that fit you well, and you definitely will be able to excel and make a career out of it. Otherwise, look at what you are most interested in. Now, what you are most interested in studying can be for knowledge, may not be for the job. So here again, it's important to know what you are interested in as more of knowledge, and what you are really interested in doing. Are they two aligned together? If they are aligned, that's good. If they are not aligned, then let's say assuming that the program, the educational program is one that you are interested in because you are curious, you like to have that piece of knowledge, and you want to have that skill that you gain from that program, then and it's not so much of your career, then you might want to put it as a lower priority. But let's say it is something that you know that I want to be in a career in that kind of work that I'm studying, then my advice would be to go for the program. Go with your heart, what you are most interested in doing, what that really energize you, what that really motivate you, what that really make you look forward every day to do. Right? A job that pay you well, that is good, provided the work itself, the work environment is also one that you can excel, that is energizing for you. Otherwise, you might not be able to stay long in a job. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, Dr. Fred, thank you very much. I think that's very good advice. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, so who have the next question? Please feel free to ask. I may not have all the perfect answers for you, but I'll do my best to share with you what I know.
Hi, Dr. Fred.
Yes.
I have a question in mind. For example, like if I have the experience
Yes.
in a certain industry, but I do not have the qualification set, how do I profile myself to suit that job?
Okay. You have the experience. So it's the other way. You have the experience, but you do not have the the qualification.
Yes.
And that depends on that qualification. How long does it take to acquire it? How much do you need to how much do you need to spend to acquire that? Let's say just offhand, a program that requires licensing and you need 3 years to go through that in order to get the licensing. Uh, and you have the experience, but you don't have the licensing. So here you can market your experience to companies that I have hands-on experience in that area. The kind of projects that you have done, the kind of achievements that you have made. And you can say part of your development plan, if you are offered a job, you are prepared to further your study to acquire the qualification as well. So that will be one way of doing that. But on the other hand, if that qualification does not take long to achieve, maybe a year, half a year to achieve, then you might want to do both. You might want to continue looking for a job in the area that you can utilize experience. At the same time, enroll for the course and continue your studies. Not sure that helps you. Yeah. Does that help?
Yes, it's helped me to understand more.
Great. Yeah. So it depends on the course. How long does it take to acquire that qualification? Here it's important to market what you have, right? And talk about your development action, what you don't have and what you can do, and what you are doing, what you are planning to do. Right. We still have time for questions. Please feel free to ask your questions. This is a good time to ask questions. This is a good time to gather inputs from other people about things that you want to find out or to clarify certain understanding you have. If you don't feel that comfortable asking verbally, you can also put in the chat. And if I see the question, I can answer that as well. So please feel free to do so. Make good use of the time for your benefit.
Excuse me, Dr. Fred.
Yes.
I want to know, we can see in the job description, there's a lot of a lot of tasks to do with the candidates. Is that possible for one candidate to meet all the requirements or have all the experience in the in this section, which is wrote in the job description?
Right. Thanks for asking this question. If I understand you correctly, is if you're referring to a job position with the description of those the job, what activities involve, the job scope, so a long list of it. So is it possible for a candidate to fulfill all, or is it part of it, or which are the main one?
Yeah.
Right. So thanks for asking this question. If I understand you correctly, based on that, it is part of many companies and interviewer that they want the best, and sometimes wanting the best may not be realistic. They may not be people who can fulfill everything. But what they are looking for are the essentials. What are the essentials, especially in today's context with the outbreak of the pandemic? People are looking at essential workflow. Are they able to perform those roles with those skills that ensure the essential workflow get going, right? So if there's a long list of activities in the job description, look at those that are the main, that fall in place with say the name of the job position, and clarify that during the interview, right? I mentioned in the morning on the other talk that in interview is a two-way process. A lot of times in virtual interview, one thing most interviewee forget is they forget to interview back. They only interview by the interviewer, answer all the questions, and then they will let the interviewer decide what's next. That should not be the case. We should interview back, right? Asking the interviewer, my understanding of this job position, there is this list of activity, and I see that it's quite a long list. May I ask that what are the main essential must-have in this role that you would expect a person to perform in order to say that the person is performing, is successful, that fit into this job. So this is something we can clarify in the interview.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Welcome. Right, so who have the next question? Please feel free to ask. Make good use of this time for your benefit.
Hi, Dr. Fred.
Yes.
Sorry, it's Ignatius again. Maybe just to help our student participants.
Yes.
If I add on to the question I just asked. So, would you recommend if someone sees a job ad with a long list of job requirements in terms of skills, but maybe feels that they have met only a certain percentage of what is listed, would you still recommend someone to apply for that job?
I would say no harm applying, because it's only in the interview that you can clarify. As I am in that position or in the nature of the business of working with companies in recruiting, in assessing the right hire, to having the right hire from their recruitment, there's a tendency of interviewer wanting the person to be able to fly, to be able to walk, to be able to swim, to be able to do many things. Although they know that it's hard to find one like that, but most of the people, they have a tendency to put in all. If the person can fill up and fulfill all this, that would be the best. So sometimes here we got to take ownership of it by looking at it and say, is that realistic? Can person fulfill everything like this? So if I am convicted as a candidate that I have the essentials, I will just write in. And if they interview me, I can clarify during the interview. Sometimes it's in the interview that the interviewer realize that, okay, this candidate may not satisfy everything, but the essentials qualities that we are looking for is there. Some of the important attributes the person may not have, but the essential attributes are there. And it's also about relative, how many other good candidates are applying for that, how many vacancies are available for the same position. So in my view, if you are convicted as a candidate looking at the job description, that what you feel are the critical ones, you have what it takes, is fine to write in. And it depends on them to whether see that you are the right fit, and it's also for you to clarify during the interview.
Thank you, Dr. Fred.
Welcome. Right, you have other questions, please feel free to ask. This is a good time for you to ask and to make best use of this time that you attend this talk.
Hello.
You can also use, yes, please. I hear someone speaking. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for today's meeting. Yeah, we got a lot of information. So my question is, I'm a hospitality management graduate, and the hospitality industry hit the hardest today, as we all know. So could you please recommend some relevant options or job positions for the hospitality graduates with no experience at this time of outbreak? Where can we go to apply our skills, and where can we start from?
Well, applying for a job position, one of my favorite is speculative application. You do not need to wait for them to advertise from the company website. You can research on them, and one of the advantage now over the past during my time was, now we are in the Google age. Many things you can Google and you find out, and you have company information. You notice more, you read about this company, and even through LinkedIn, when you read about the profile of people, the decision maker, you can just write in on your own to talk to them about your interests to work in this company, even to try out as on a trial basis, as an intern, as a trainee, as a volunteer. And it's really up to them to decide whether they open the door for you to meet up with you, to explore with you. Yeah. So these are the ways that I see can help. And of course, that I mentioned earlier on, the various others approaches that you can adopt, participating in other career fair, going into the government career website to explore. So that will be one that I see that can help you.
Just to add on to Dr. Fred, yeah, I'm Kevin from MDIS. To answer Anna's question, I'll give you a recent example of SIA crew members are now employed, redeployed in healthcare sector. So that's something that you can consider. You know, hospitality industry and healthcare sector are quite relevant in that sense. It's providing care services.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, just to add on to Anna, for the healthcare sector, as you can imagine, they are in high demand now, and most of the healthcare agencies, they do employ international students. Just to let you know.
Okay. Yeah.
If you're an international student, thank you.
Yes, I am. Thank you. Yeah, that's one of the eligibility criteria, I think, included.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.
That's all the best.
Thank you.
Great. So please feel free to ask questions. This is also a good time to practice your interviewing skills virtually. the bonus to ask questions, the comfort level to ask questions. Yes, I saw one question that talked about job street, finding job, and there was not very much success. Networking, yeah, job street is one of the avenues, is one of the recruitment website. But other than that, there's networking through LinkedIn. That will also be another avenue that you can look for employers. I think I did share that through LinkedIn, there are people who wrote to me for job application, and that is one avenue. Okay, time is moving fast, and it's now 2 o'clock. So please feel free to ask your question if you do have one. All right, if there are no further questions, we shall close this session. And I want to take this time to really thank you for your time to participate, and for those who have your name written in the chat group, we will get back to you on the complimentary report.
Yeah, Frederick, sorry, Alice here. I see there's a question from a participant.
Yeah, I saw one, sorry. Okay, your experience in IT, you're going for an MBA in banking and finance. Where is the actual probability of getting a job in Singapore? Well, IT, banking and finance combined together, we talk about just now some of the industries that are growing, e-commerce. I do not know about your MBA, when are you graduating and all this. However, looking at it at this point in time, I don't think the finance industry is fully down, but just that it's taking a different model, going online, and also a lot of analysis in the back end. There are still opportunities available, and you never know if you have not tried. So writing in, trying out from recruitment agencies, looking at company websites, we're still constantly doing that. Will still give you an idea where how the situation is. So thanks for that question. I hope that give you some inputs. Okay, any last question? Please feel free to ask. Okay, if there are no further questions, we will end the session now, and I will hand it over back to Rachel of MDIS.
Hi. Okay. Hi, Dr. Fred. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, students, can I just get you all to turn on your camera so that we can take a group photo of all of you all who attended the event? Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you, Dr. Fred, for everything.
Thank you.
And
It's a
colleagues,
pleasure to be able to
thank you.
welcome.
Kevin and colleagues, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll take leave now. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
For those who require more information and more help, please feel free to come to our office at Block C, Level 1, Career Assistant Unit. Me and Rachel will be more than happy to help you. Over the last few days, we helped a couple of students found jobs. So we hope to extend the good luck to all of you.